Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a little dive into r/BestofRedditorUpdates. So if you would like to get into some gossip with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. And of course, quick disclaimer, any opinions I give on the post we read today are just opinions, not facts. Do not need to be taken as such. If you have a differing opinion, do feel free to leave it in the comments below. Just make sure you're keeping it respectful. There is no need to be mean to each other because you do not agree. With that being said, let's get into it then, shall we? Okay then, first post posted by Direct Caterpillar 77 with the title Me 25F with my boyfriend 26M of 6 months. I'm about to break up with him over a backpack, but I need to know if I'm overreacting. Honestly, a 6-month relationship, breaking up with him over a backpack, it's not the worst reason I've heard. So, of course, Direct Caterpillar is not the original poster. The original poster is u/backpack drama. Direct Caterpillar is the person who compiled it together for us like a lovely wee bean. And we have some trigger warnings for destruction of sentimental property and a mood spoiler for rage-inducing, but ends positive for the OOP. Good to know, good to know. It was originally posted June 4th, 2016. So let's get into the meat and taters of it all then, shall we? My boyfriend Jacob and I have been together for half a year now. We met through mutual friends about 2 years ago. Jacob is a very laid-back guy, and maybe since I have a lot of anxiety, that attracted me to him. The past 6 months have been fun and without incident until now. I thought Jacob was a caring and thoughtful person, and I really saw a future with him, but now I'm reconsidering. Background info, I have a backpack that is covered with patches. Before this happened, I had about 35 patches sewn on it. This is a project that I started when I was 14 and needed a backpack for high school. Over the years, I collected patches from all the shows, concerts, and plays I've gone to, when I studied abroad and visited new cities and museums, gifts from friends and family, etc. When I was 20, the bottom of my backpack ripped out, so I got a new one and carefully removed and reattached the patches. I don't carry a purse, I carry this backpack literally every day. It might seem silly, but a lot of my personal history and favourite memories are tied, well, brackets sewn, to this backpack. On Wednesday, Jacob and I were hanging out at my place watching Netflix with 2 mutual friends. My apartment has a much larger living room than his does, so we tend to hang out at my place. I had to work early Thursday morning, so I went to bed a little earlier and just told Jacob to lock up before he came to bed. The next morning, I go about getting ready for work and go to put some things in my backpack. That's when I notice it's missing patches. 11 to be precise. Yeah, 11 isn't just gonna have fallen off by themselves, is it? I immediately wake Jacob up, basically panicking, asking what happened. He told me that he had invited 3 of his friends over after I had gone to sleep. Apparently, they texted him because they were bar hopping nearby and he told them to come over. Yeah, that's a bit of a red flag when it's not your place. Like, fair enough, you had friends over earlier, but that was like a mutual agreement with the person whose apartment it is. But like, you shouldn't just go inviting people over while they're asleep. Like, that's not okay. At some point, especially when they've only been together 6 months, like if it was like a really long-term relationship, you knew all their friends really well, it had already been prior established that you don't mind them bringing people over, then that's okay. But yeah, no, already not liking that. At some point, one of them saw my backpack sitting in the living room and said it was cool and they wanted one like it. And Jacob told them that they could have some of the patches if they wanted. Absolutely not. So they cut 11 patches off my bag. I was livid. I still am. I can't really describe how betrayed I feel. A few of my patches were gifts from my father who passed away last year. He always loved helping me find new patches and bought me 3 limited release patches that are now very expensive and difficult to find. Those are all gone. I had 1 patch that my dad bought me in 1994 and let me have. It's gone as well. Patches from my study abroad trip are gone too. I feel so devastated. That is wild, just letting your friends snip bits off of your girlfriend's backpack. Like, that is actually crazy. I'm not proud of my reaction. I flipped the fuck out. A lot of what the fuck were you thinkings and how could you do this? Fair one. I told him he had to call his friends that were over and get all the patches back. He said he would for the ones from my dad, but he would look too bad if he asked for the rest that didn't mean as much. I asked him if he cared more about looking like a jackass to them or me. He hesitated and I freaked out and told him that he had to leave. Yeah, I totally understand. I messaged the people I know were over on Facebook and got a response back from one person, one of the mutual friends. He bought my patches back Thursday night. He said he thought it was weird that Jacob offered, but went along with it and he apologised. Yeah, no, I'm not buying it off him, to be honest. Although, to be fair, if he was in, you know, your place and Jacob was like, oh, you can have those, maybe they thought that, maybe this person might have had the thought of, oh, maybe Jacob and the OP have had some sort of conversation where the OP is like, I need to get rid of some of these patches or something. I don't know. Still think it's very bloody weird to do without asking the person who the thing actually belongs to. So now I only have 9 patches missing. I know it sounds silly, but I just feel so sick over it. I texted Jacob today about getting my dad's patches back and he just said he was going to contact them on the weekend. What's the point of waiting? Yeah, what is the point of waiting? I talked to a couple friends about what happened and told them I wanted to break up over this. They both saw this as an overreaction and that I should let it go and get more patches. Everyone seems to think because patches are cheap, I shouldn't be so upset and should forgive him. No, I don't agree because they have a sentimental value. Like, there's a few of them that are off her dad that passed away. And even the ones that aren't, they've been collected by being gifts, which would be a special thing to the OP, I imagine. You know, from when they've travelled and when they've studied abroad. Like, those are ones that you can't ever replicate. Like, there is a memory attached to them. And the fact that he's just like, oh, I'll do it on the weekend, it means he's stalling because he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to ask for them back. Which, to be honest, I just think that's so shitty. I mean, it's shitty what he's done in the first place anyway, but then to be reluctant to even try and get them back, it just shows just how much he cares, doesn't it, really? I need to know if I'm overreacting. My feelings are maybe I was being hysterical when I confronted Jacob and I didn't deal with it in the best way. But he hasn't been proactive about fixing this situation. He's only texted me once to tell me he was contacting his friends on the weekend. I'm so frustrated and hurt, and I'm not sure how I will trust him again after this. And before anyone asks, he absolutely knew what this backpack meant to me. Once, when we were about a month in dating, he asked me to give him the backstory to each patch, and he's seen me carry it every day. TLDR, my boyfriend had friends over and they took patches from my backpack. I want to dump him, but friends think I'm overreacting. Nah, I would dump him because if he's that nonchalant about just disrespecting your belongings, that's a big red flag for me, personally. And yeah, I wouldn't be able to trust him. I wouldn't be able to trust him in my house. I wouldn't be able to trust him bringing friends over because I'd be like, what the friggin' hell's going to get given away of mine next? You know? And not only that, like I say, it just shows a lack of respect for the OP on a whole, I feel. So yeah, no, I think I would be binning him off. So, relevant comments. A deleted user says, you're definitely not overreacting. Who the fuck offers to let their friends destroy something that belongs to them because they think it looks cool? Get your stuff back and dump this idiot. Exactly. And then the OOP says his explanation was that I had so many he didn't think I would mind. What, even after you've given him the backstories of all the patches and the memories attached? Sure, I ain't buying it. And he's seen me give patches to people before. Yeah, but that's different because the OP's doing it. That's like showing people that you care by giving them something that is meaningful to you. That is very different from just letting some people the OP doesn't even know just take off whatever they want. That's true, but I've never given someone a patch from my own backpack. And that makes a big difference too. I mean, not like even if the OP had been given them from the backpack, it would in any way make it okay for Jacob to do what he did. I bought them at shows or through online vendors specifically as gifts, and yes, why would he think it was okay to give away my property? It's so disrespectful. What kind of excuse is, I didn't think you would mind in this situation? And he hasn't seemed to realise it yet. He only texted me once since yesterday that he would contact his friends on the weekend. He hasn't apologised at all. And the thing that would be bothering me if I was the OP, I'd be thinking, no, you need to do it now, because if you leave it so long, like, they might even lose them before then. Because if they were all pissed as farts when they came over, you know, what's to say they didn't even remember taking them, half, like, some of the friends, and then they've gone in their pocket and been like, what the bloody hell is this, and chucked it away or something, or lost it. So I'd be thinking, no, you need to do it now. Get those back before these clothes go in the wash or something and I never see them again. So then Olivia Prestine says, you're not overreacting. He had no right to give away your property. And the fact that he didn't immediately apologise and do everything he could to get them back shows that this wasn't a one-time lapse of judgment, but a severe character flaw. And then the OOP says, it would have been so different if he had apologised and showed an effort to get them back, but he argued about it and said I was overreacting. And then May Graith says, I could maybe understand if you two actually lived together and it was an item sitting on a counter or a bookshelf that he gave away. Even then, that's really, really specific sort of circumstances for me that would make that okay. If it was something that neither of the OPs really had any kind of attachment to, they knew they didn't have an attachment to it, say something someone gave them as like a housewarming gift that they both really hated or something like that, then yeah, okay, fair enough, but still, if it doesn't belong to you, you don't give it away. But this was something that was clearly not his, that had to be physically cut off of what is essentially your purse. That is a huge violation even without the sentimental value being taken into account. You don't just go into someone else's home and give away their possessions. And then the OOP says, this articulates my concerns really well. I feel that I invited them into my space, but you didn't though, you didn't even invite them in. You went to bed and he invited them in. And my own boyfriend facilitated them fucking with my property. What the hell? What the hell, indeed. And then May Graith replies to that saying, bottom line is, he and they stole from you. I'm really confused why he or any of your friends are perfectly fine with that. I'd play nice until you get as many patches back as possible and then dump him like the piece of shit he is. And then the OOP says, he invited them to steal from me. They cut the patches off with a pocket knife and left holes in my bag. Oh my goodness. My main effort is going to be getting my dad's patches back. I can get over the rest of them, but I really want those 4. So then Elfgirl1317 says, can the friend who returned your patches put you in touch with the other people so you don't have to rely on your ex to get the patches back? And then the OOP says, he had the number of the other mutual friend and told me he would message him too. The other 3 people are on Jacob's side of his social circle from college. I'm going to start Facebook stalking to see if I can find them. That's a very good idea. Edit, my second mutual friend just called. He also had 2 patches and promised to return them this weekend. Also, I would very much consider, whilst you dump Jacob, dump those 2 friends that were your mutual friends. They are no pals of yours, my love. One of them was my dad's patches. That's 7 left. So there was an editor's note that just says OOP tried to make an update, but it wasn't approved. However, OOP made 3 comments in the later post titled, my girlfriend 32F gave away a lot of my things at a clothing swap / charity and says that I, 28M, am overreacting and too attached to material possessions to give closure. Oh, I wonder if maybe someone had said, oh, this reminds me of Patches Girl. And then they've like tagged her or something and she's commented in that. That's quite good, because at least then we have a little bit of an update. So comment 1 posted 2 months later from the original post. I broke up with a guy who did something similar to me. Post got deleted. It comes down to respect, even if it is material items, and I found that my ex didn't really respect me. Something similar happened to me as well. He couldn't apologise to me either, so we ended up breaking up. Did OOP get all the patches back? Yes, I got them all back. Yay! I tried to update here, but it got removed. And then the OOP updated 10 years later in the borrow thread. No way, that's insane. So this one was extraordinarily recent on August 10th of 2026. Responding to the top comment for visibility, this was me. I'm surprised I could still log into this account. It was a throwaway. It's been so long since this happened. Through the course of everything, I learned that my ex wasn't laid back. He just didn't give a fuck. Very different things. Exactly, they are very different things. I did get all the patches back. A few people were very apologetic and immediately went out of their way to return them. A few people I had to show up at their place with a friend in tow, looking someone in the eyes and saying, "You have a patch that my dead father gave me when I was 14, worked pretty well." The audacity of them to try and not give them back. What assholes. Basically, all of them blame my ex. It's okay, I blamed him too. He never truly apologized. He just wanted me to be less mad without fixing anything. I was very passive then, and I don't think I had ever been as angry as that moment. I went scorched earth and told everyone what he did. He was mad about that, but I didn't care. He shouldn't have done it if he didn't want me to talk about it. A few of my friends apologised for taking his side, but our friendship wasn't ever really the same after that. Yeah, I would never trust those friends again. How are they your friends, seeing you carrying that backpack constantly? Probably having been told, I would imagine, considering you would have it on you all the time. Probably been told the sentimental value of it and those patches, and they still took some. Absolutely not. Months, maybe even a year after all this went down, my sister and I were going through a storage unit of my dad's to clear it out. We found one of his old backpacks, nothing special, just a Jansport. I cleaned it out and that was the new base. I still have it to this day and I have added new patches since. I'm glad that the OP got them back. That's just so... infuriating. Like, how bloody entitled to do that with someone else's belongings? That's crazy. So let's have a look at what the Best of Redditor Updates commenters have to say about this one, shall we? So Joe from Ohio says, "What in the world do people take patches off someone's bag?" Exactly. None of these people are good people. Yay, they return them. Who in their right mind thinks, "Oh yeah, that personal item, I'll just cut a meaningful thing off of it"? And the bit that really got me is even if they didn't think that the patches were meaningful, which I don't buy for a minute, at least off the two mutual friends, why on earth would they think it's okay to cut them off and then damage the bag as they're doing it? That's just what is wrong with these people? X and his friends were all coked out their minds, and OP's ex was being a dick, encouraging his asshole friends to destroy his girlfriend's shit. I did wonder, if this was more of an influence of extracurricular pharmaceuticals, to be fair, considering don't imagine how anyone could be that entitled without the help of some chemicals. But then again, I say that, but then, you just have to look around. I'm gesturing broadly right now because just look around at people for long enough. People watch outside and you'll start to notice that there are, unfortunately, a lot of people who don't care about other people's things. So, Princess Troublegum says, "All this terribleness aside, I also find it weird to decide without asking to invite your friends to your relatively new girlfriend's home." Exactly, thank you. I was so baffled reading that, why no one was pointing that out. I was just thinking, what? Why is no one else finding that weird? But no, that's another thing. That's such odd behavior to me. Why would you be inviting people around to someone else's house while they're in bed? Asleep. Weird. I'm glad he went in the bin, honestly. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give it a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that'll be your initiation into the Cupboard of Void. Welcome. Don't forget to slap the like button, slap Big L, tell me what you've had for tea or dinner, as most people say it. Tea is a very regional thing, I understand, in the UK even, so... There's a big debate over here. Usually it's like northerners against southerners, and the people in the middle just kind of mix it up between themselves. Some say tea, some say dinner. I'm going on a ramble here, but anyway, tell me what you've had. I'm nosy and I'm hungry, so let me live vicariously because it's 2 in the morning and I really shouldn't eat if I don't want to have the reflux all night again. Anyway, whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.